According to the EPA, stormwater runoff, aka runoff, is rainwater and melted snow that runs off streets, lawns, and other sites. Runoff is water that does not seep or infiltrate into the ground. Infiltration is affected by the amount of rainfall or snowmelt, whether or not the surface is impervious, the type of ground cover or soil, and the porousness of the ground. Surfaces that we use for roads and buildings, like concrete, asphalt, and shingles, shed most of the rainfall they receive as runoff. The increase in runoff volume in urban areas leads to flooding, habitat destruction, sewer overflows, and diluted sewage in local rivers. Additionally, any substances on these impervious surfaces, such as gasoline, oil, sediment, and chemicals from motorized vehicles, are washed away by the runoff and transported into many local water sources. Stormwater infrastructure in urban areas is designed to convey urban runoff away, but it is often undersized or shares pipes with sanitary sewer systems. In areas with combined sewer systems, overflows of diluted sewage water can occur when it rains. The resulting reduction in water quality and the potential health hazard is a major issue in urban areas across the United States. A runoff footprint is the total surface runoff that a site produces over the course of a year. The total runoff is a measure of the site's contribution to stormwater issues in an area, especially in urban areas with sewer overflows. The type of vegetation on a property will affect its runoff footprint. The leaves and branches of vegetation provide surface area to intercept and hold precipitation, keeping it from reaching the ground and potentially becoming runoff. During moderate to heavy rainfall, precipitation will overwhelm the interception capacity of trees and shrubs. A property's surface cover at the ground level then becomes a major factor affecting the runoff footprint. The general types of surfaces are pervious and impervious areas like driveways and roofs that generate the most runoff. The pervious surface area on a property can be found in the yard where soil absorbs precipitation at its infiltration rate. Compacted, urban soils or those with a high clay content have low infiltration rates. Urbanized areas with high concentrations of impervious surfaces like buildings, roads, and driveways produce large volumes of runoff, which can lead to flooding, sewer overflows, and poor water quality. Since soil in urban areas can be compacted and consequently have a low infiltration rate, the surface runoff estimated in a runoff footprint is not just from impervious surfaces, but also pervious areas including yards. Completing a runoff footprint for a site allows a property owner to understand what areas on their property are producing the most runoff and what scenarios for stormwater green solutions like rain barrels and rain gardens are most effective in mitigating this runoff and its cost to the community. In our own locality, NPS, or non-point source pollution, caused by stormwater runoff poses problems not only for the environment, but also for people who like to enjoy the Truckee River or any of the nearby lakes and reservoirs. NPS is pollution that is caused by a wide variety of human activities that are not isolated within a small, easily identifiable geographic region. This is one of the reasons that pollution from stormwater runoff is so difficult to effectively manage. It occurs from multiple, highly dispersed locations throughout the area. Individual sources can each contribute different toxins to the natural water systems. These toxins can range from the sediments, oil, gasoline, and grease found on roadways to the pesticides and fertilizers found both on urban lawns and in agricultural areas. Regardless of the type of pollutant, they are all washed into the Truckee River, causing the water quality to suffer. The local impacts of decreased water quality due to stormwater runoff includes less diverse or abundant wildlife, dirtier water at recreational sites, which can impact fishing and swimming, and unhealthy people and animals. When runoff happens in especially large volumes over a short period of time, it can also cause damage through erosion. Runoff can wash away the topsoil plants need for growth and nutrients and erode stream banks and hillsides so that vegetation is unable to grow there in the future. As such, Runoff can negatively impact plant communities. The best way to combat the negative effects of urban runoff is to make positive choices as an individual about what you can do to minimize your personal runoff footprint. One of the best ways to minimize the impact your personal runoff footprint has on the environment is to pay attention to the types of chemicals you use in your home and yard that are consequently exposed to being washed away. If you don't use pesticides or fertilizers in your yard, then you don't have to worry about the harmful effects they can have in areas besides where they were intended to be applied. Another method to minimize your personal impact is to install a low runoff material, such as gravel, in your yard to allow for higher infiltration rates as the runoff water is slowed down by the porous surface. Making environmentally responsible personal decisions is one of the best and most effective ways to combat pollution caused by urban runoff.